'Cause my pillow's your soul, your body's my home, and when I feel you so close, you take me out of this world. 'Cause without you, there's...
Today, I'm excited to welcome the incredibly talented Tim Gallagher to Totally Music to chat about his musical career. Tim, welcome to Totally Music. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you very much. I think you did a good job of introducing me, actually. My name is Tim. I am a singer-songwriter from a small town up the north of England called Crewe in Cheshire.
Great to have you on. So what got you into music?
I don't think I had much choice, to be honest. My mum and dad were both in cover bands growing up, and I was just like, don't know. I've been surrounded by music since as long as I can remember. And my old man bought me a karaoke machine when I was 5, and honestly, that's all she wrote. Like I can't remember not singing. That's how long I've been doing it for. So, um, that was the catalyst for me to start.
Nice. So where do you draw the inspiration from for your music?
Well, my parents were the inspiration for me to start. And then I think when I was younger, I used to, like, without outside influence from my family, I just naturally enjoyed telling stories, and I used to write like just stories, like little short stories as a kid. Um, so when the two things were separate. Like, I would just write in my spare time as a child as a hobby, and I was also singing. And then as I got a little bit older, I picked up the guitar. I picked up the guitar a bit too late, to be honest. Like, I was 16 when I picked it up, and I think that's one of the biggest regrets of my life. But as I turned 16, I picked up the guitar, and then them two things just like married together. I was like, oh yeah, I can like now write these stories that I write in melodical form. Started writing songs. I mean, instantly. Like, before I could even play 3 or 4 chords together, I was trying to write songs. And I what I enjoy doing, and what only um, gives me fulfillment is writing about little segments of my life and my own experiences. And there's nothing more rewarding to me than taking something like literal in my life or an experience that I've been through, and then putting that into song form, releasing that into the world, and then having people relate to it. I think it's bizarre, and I think it's wonderful. So that's where I get my inspiration from. I take it from my own tragic life.
So what's been your favorite song you've written and why?
Oh, Tracy, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard. It's not, because it changes. It changes like the weather. I think there's a song that I always go back to. I fall in and out of love with my releases. Often the song that I've most recently written is the thing that is I'm really excited about. So there's like a recency bias towards anything that I've done recently. But I always come back to a song that I did called Ignore Me. And it probably doesn't have the streaming to justify it being in my set every time I play, but it's in my set every time I play. Because for whatever reason, I've just never gone off it, and I always get so much satisfaction from performing it. And it's an incredibly personal song, and that's probably why I still get so much fulfillment out of the song, is because I get to revisit that little episode of my life whenever I play it live. So maybe Ignore Me, but I don't know, in all honesty.
I do love that song. I love hearing it when you play it live.
Thank you.
So what are your favorite set of lyrics you've written and why?
That's as hard as the favorite song question. I don't know whether there's a set of lyrics, but there was a song called, I mean, most of my songs are me moaning about women, right? There's not that much to it. Moaning about women and moaning about my relationships. But there was one song that was incredibly personal and probably the most emotional to write. And it's a song called Growing Pains. And I think a lot of the lyrics within that song are my favorite, because I think it was the first time that I sort of um, wrote about something that I didn't think that I could write about, and also captured it in a way that um, felt like something I was really proud of. So I think Growing Pains, it summed up a really dark period in my life, and in a beautiful way, maybe. Yeah, some of the lyrics from Growing Pains, I think.
That was the first song I ever heard of yours, and it made me fall in love with your music.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did I? When did you first hear that? Was that like online, or was that like Did I play it at the first? Was it the first song at one of my gigs?
It was online. I heard it first. It was when I searched your music, but then you played it at the first gig of yours I came to.
Oh no, I sold you a dream with Growing Pains, because you would have been like, oh, this guy like writes about like really interesting concepts, and he's like, oh no, he's just like every other singer songwriter who reminds about his relationship.
It's still one of my favorite songs today of yours.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I do love that song. Very hard to. I find that topic very hard to write about, and I'm trying to think how many times I've done it. Maybe three or four, and of them three or four, probably Growing Pains is the only one that I feel like I've captured it in a way that I'm like, I'm really proud of that song, and it says everything I wanted it to say, without coming across like too morbid or too yeah, too morbid.
In October, you released your new song "Out of This World," which has had an incredible reaction to it. How does it feel that a song like that's had such a reaction?
Yeah, there's the recency bias, because at the minute I'm totally besotted with that song. The reaction, I really didn't expect. Not that I didn't believe in the song. I always believe in the song, or I would never put it out. But I didn't quite expect it to react on the level that it has, and um, it's still, normally when we release a song, you see, I'm so obsessed with all the metrics and stuff, which is really sad. I didn't get into music for that, but the life of the song obviously has that um, initial sort of peak when it first comes out, and then it dips off. But This World has just got a life of its own at the minute, and the reaction's been overwhelming, to be honest. We were playing. I played the song solo, and I was supporting Picture This, and people were singing it in the audience, and the song wasn't even out in countries that I'd never been to. So it has been a very wholesome, very bizarre experience. It's been amazing.
It was great to hear it live when I saw you the other week. It was the first time I'd like properly heard it other than it, being released, and it was amazing.
I think when you heard it, it might have been the first performance after it was out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was. Manchester was my first show since it was out. Yeah. Yeah. And you came to the first date, right?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been wild. And the room was singing it, wasn't it? And it had only been out for a couple of days. It was yeah, it's been a really, really, really nice end to the year. It's been a great year. And Out of This World the reaction to that has just topped off like a wonderful year for me personally on the songwriting front.
It's really well deserved.
Thank you very much.
So as you just mentioned, you've recently been on your first ever European tour. What was the experience like for you?
Unbelievable. Honestly, incredible. Started with a European run. We went through Germany, Switzerland, Prague. It's not a country, Czech Republic. What else did we do? We were in Austria, and I did that with supporting a band called Picture This, who are absolutely unbelievable and a really great group of lads. They were really sweet with me. But their audiences were just stunning, and I'll never forget my first show. And as a support act, I'm very well prepared for a lot of noise in the crowd and a lot of talking, because ultimately they're here to see their favorite band and they're excited, and that's absolutely fine. But I don't recall a show where like the crowd wasn't incredibly attentive. I was confused on two words, but they were silent. They listened to every lyric, and they were like super wholesome and super responsive, and it was an incredible experience. And that first night I played in Munich, I was like, I mean, I was playing my first song and they were dead silent. I'm like, do these guys hate me? And then they give me like the most beautiful applause after. And I'm like, oh, oh, okay. All right. I didn't know this was going to be a thing. This is really nice. Thank you. And then I did my own European run, and that was like that experience, but on steroids because they were attentive all the same. Yeah, they were as engaged, but then they were obviously there to see me, and they were singing the songs because they were familiar with the songs. So, and you know, and selling out a show in a country that I've never been to before is just such an alien thing to me. And I've had a little bit of success over the last few years since I started really hammering at social media, but my brain is still catching up to like this doesn't really make sense. But yeah, I'm just going with the flow. It's the most amazing experience, and hopefully I can just go to more countries that I haven't been to before, and I'll go anywhere that anyone will listen to me.
No, your gigs are amazing, so I'd highly recommend anyone going.
Oh, thank you.
So what's been your favourite musical experience and why?
I have it. I actually do know it. There's so many, but um, I've been doing this for such a long time. I'm 31 now, and I've been a gigging musician since I was 16. I went straight from college to do that, and for 10, 11 years, you know, it mostly fell on deaf ears. I would do the pubs and clubs and bars and restaurants scene, and people would talk over me and stuff. And you know, I went on talent shows and did all that, and it was although it's like you're incredibly lucky to do that for a living. When you want more and when you want to really put your own music out and want to chase the artist thing, it can be really disheartening. And that was me for a long time. And then when COVID happened, um, my socials went a bit crazy, but I didn't know what that meant. Like I'd not had people in a room. I'd seen these numbers grow on a screen, but like I didn't know what it meant. And ultimately, I'd released this huge catalogue of music that just hadn't done very well, and had again been demoralizing over like a 5, 6, 7 year period. So we announced the show because the numbers I signed with an agent, and I got my first show, and it sold out instantly. And it was at the Deaf. Have you ever been to the Deaf Institute?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it was at the Deaf Institute in Manchester, and I was only good for like 10, 20 tickets in Manchester, which is technically my hometown show because I lived there. And so even though it sold out, I didn't know what it meant, and I'd done a lot of covers online. I didn't know that people knew my songs and whatever. And I remember being on the way to the venue and just being like really nervous and really like I don't know how this is going to pan out. And I walked out on stage and the room just went crazy, and there was new. It was totally new, and actually, it was probably not my best performance all night because the reaction was so stimulating and so shocking that I wasn't. I was really nervous and wasn't really be able to be in control. But that night is the highlight of my career so far, and I don't think it's possible to top it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think like of course there's bigger things that I want to do, and I want to sell out bigger rooms and I want to perform to bigger audiences, but there's just something so special about that, like suffering for such a long time.
Yeah.
And then having that moment, and the room sang all of the songs that had failed. And you're talking about like, you know, One More Night, which is one of the first songs that I wrote. Like I released that 3 times and it just never did anything. And now it's one of the highlights of the set, even 3 years on. And the whole room singing that song is like, don't know, it's such like nice validation for 21-year-old me that it's kind of like you were doing the right thing, and this what you were doing was good enough. You just never found your audience. So I'll never ever forget that gig at the Deaf Institute. I don't think it can be topped at all. My performance can be topped. It wasn't very good, but selfishly for me personally, it was one of the best musical night of my life for sure.
But, so for anyone who hasn't heard your music, what songs would you recommend that they listen to first?
I don't know. Out of This World is the one doing the best. I get. I would say Out of This World, because it's important to me that the reaction from the audience, I think, gives the song validation. So it seems like that is the one that has or is going to have the broadest audience. I know a lot of the fan base really enjoy Lost Without You. What I have noticed is that the songs that don't necessarily do as well, but I love, seem to be highlights in the live set. So I would say Ignore Me is something I'm incredibly proud of. Nicotine Patch is something I'm incredibly proud of. Growing Pains. Yeah, they're a good start. Was that 5 songs?
Yeah. Yeah, I love Every Little Word. That's one of my favorite musical memories when I saw you play it. You know, when I think there was an issue in
The sound system failed in Birmingham, didn't it? And we played it out front. It's one of my Birmingham is often the highlight of the tour. For whatever reason, the people there, they just create electric atmospheres. I know they're not a northern city, but it feels like a very northern rowdy crowd, and I love it. That night was really special. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite musical memories. Just remembering that moment when everyone was just singing. It was just one of my favorites.
I have it on video somewhere. I don't know whether it was you that sent me the video, Tracy.
It was, yeah.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just special. That's something that's always stuck with me.
Yeah, it was one of my favourites.
So what's one message you'd like to give to your fans?
Thank you. Thank you for enabling me to do this for the length of time that I've done it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sticking by me, more importantly, because I think I can be probably a little bit frustrating with and maybe all artists are going through fits and spurts of releasing and they're not releasing, but thank you so much, and thank you for sticking by me is the first thing that comes to mind.
So just going to go into a bit of a quick fire Q&A now.
Yeah.
So we'll start easy. What's your favourite colour?
Red. I'm a United fan.
Yes. Favourite ice cream flavour?
Oh God, that's hard because I have all the fancy flavors in me. I don't do like a vanilla chocolate or there's a peanut butter one from Halo Top, but like anything peanut butter. Peanut butter.
Okay. Favorite TV show or film?
Favorite TV show is Friends. Favorite film, Wolf of Wall Street. God, that's such a generic bloke answer.
Favorite song?
Unbelievably difficult, but the first one that comes to my head is Purple Rain, Prince.
What's your most used emoji?
It's either the crying laughing face or the slanted crying laughing face. I rotate them.
And what's your favorite social media app?
Oh God. Does YouTube count?
Yeah, we'll go with it.
No, YouTube. For me personally, like I'm not I end up stuck on TikTok or Instagram and like doom scrolling, so I can't say they're my favorites because they often make me feel terrible. What about YouTube?
Okay. If you could be any animal, what would it be and why?
Bird, it'd be cool to fly, wouldn't it?
Yeah. What's your most useless talent and why?
Singing. My most useless talent. Playing football, maybe, because I'm all right at it, but it's never served any purpose in my life other than like multiple knee operations and injuries.
Yeah. And finally, what's next for you?
I'm going to write the next record. I'm off to America for a good stint at the start of next year to get that to get that all finished, and then we just go again. Same, release a bunch of music next year, tour again, and the goal is always to level up and release more music and play bigger shows and play more countries. So that's the goal. If that doesn't happen, then that's fine, because we'll still be doing the same thing that we do. So more touring, more releases.
Can't wait. I'm looking forward to following your journey.
Thanks, Tracy.
So a massive thank you, Tim, for joining me on Totally Music. If anyone would like to check out his music, I'll leave all the links in the description below for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
'Cause my pillow's your soul, your body's my home, and when I feel you so close, you take me out of this world. 'Cause we